is that we weren't sure how the house would change. And yes, the house is more modern. The house is a new house now, but it has a lot of the same things that we had before. We've maintained some of the knotty pine. We've got the view of the lake. We've got, it's not a formal house. We're not real formal people, yet it's a very bright and modern house now. And we love it. Thank you. I mean, it's been wonderful.
Welcome back. Mike here with Pratt Remodeling. We're here at beautiful White Bear Lake, as you can see in the background, with the remodel project we're doing, which is a full house remodel. If you go on our site, you've probably seen some of the shots we've taken of the home, but we're lucky today because I've actually got the homeowners here today. I've got Betsy and Dave, and it's been a great process. I just want to step back a little bit and just ask you a little bit of background, who you guys are. So let's start with that a little bit. So maybe Betsy, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Lived in this house for 30 years with David, and we raised 3 kids here. I'm a veterinarian in Stillwater. I work part-time, and I love being at this house, and I love White Bear Lake, and I grew up in White Bear Lake actually, and then moved away for years, college and living other places, and then when David graduated, we moved here because it was a good spot.
Sure. Well, Dave, how about you? A little bit of your background.
I grew up in South Minneapolis, went to Minneapolis Roosevelt High School, and went to medical school at the University of Minnesota and did my residency at Hennepin County. After finishing my fellowship in sports medicine, joined a practice here in White Bear. Kind of joke, we wonder when this house will be named after us because everybody calls it the Ambler House.
Really?
Before us.
Really?
That's right. So we love it.
What a fabulous place to live.
This is just a great place to live and to raise a family.
Sure, sure. And so the kids have grown up a little bit, and now we've decided, it's kind of, it's time to remodel.
Yeah.
With your change of life and things like that, and so that's great. I'm just glad we're here and able to do that for you. And then also, I'm a big camper, and I love RVing and stuff like that. And so tell me, I think there's a tent trailer, pop-up trailer beyond the trees here that you guys have been staying in.
Yep. When we thought about remodeling the house, we thought, well, we could move out, but we have dogs and we like camping, and we kind of were talking about getting a pop-up camper anyway, so we thought now's a good time. We have a little property that way, and we have it set up, and we can sleep there or sit there in the evenings, or while the guys are working, if I have a day off, I sit there and eat and do my computer stuff, and
wow.
It's really fun.
Perfect place. Your storyline. So let's talk about that a little bit, Betsy and Dave. What are your high points?
Well, the house was built in the 50s, and we loved the house. And we knew that many of our friends, as they're retiring age and their kids are grown, are moving to Florida or Arizona or California or someplace. And we talked a lot about it and thought, nope, when we get closer to retirement, we want to stay not only in Minnesota, but at this house. And so then we looked at the house and thought, well, we always thought it would be a tear down because it was kind of old and wasn't great as far as energy efficiency and that kind of thing. And then we thought, well, we can make it great. We can fix the foundation that needed to be fixed because it started to crumble. We can replace any of the windows we haven't replaced to make it more energy efficient. We can insulate the exterior wall so it can be energy efficient, and those were really our main goals, weren't they, Dave?
We learned a new term, which was age in place.
Right.
And that says, what do we need to do so as we age, we can live in a home that allows us to adapt. And so if one of us ends up in a wheelchair, how do we do that in the house? So we've got a design that widened all the doorways. We've got the master bath, can be a wheel-in bath. We've got a spot set aside we can put a lift in case one of us ends up not being able to go upstairs.
Yeah.
So we really
Yeah,
looked
the
at
elevator
this.
shaft that
Yep.
would down. Yep.
Yep, we really looked at this as how do we stay here and enjoy this property the way we have the previous 30 years.
Why Pratt Homes? Why have us out here?
Why Pratt Homes?
Well, from my perspective, once we locked in on a design and had an idea of how we wanted this to look, it was time to figure out who was going to build it for us. And our architect had made some recommendations on who we could use. Because of my practice here in White Bear Lake, I'm connected to a lot of patients who've done remodels. They all spoke very highly of Pratt Remodeling. And so it was a matter of saying, how do we interview builders? And we do a process. And we actually interviewed 2 builders. We had 2 builders come and give us bids and talk to them about what their process was, how they would handle the process, how they would schedule it, how they would work with us on financing. And so we chose based on what we did from those interviews and what people said about Pratt Homes and Pratt Remodeling. Everybody to a person I talked to said they do quality work. They did our kitchen. It's fantastic. So it was one of those things that was really listening to people who we trust.
I'll just say when we were deciding how to choose, I would say we work with a lot of trust, and I always felt like you guys came and we knew that we could work with you and trust you and know that it was all going to be okay and done right.
And I think Betsy brought up the trust side, and you're really opening up your home to somebody, and you don't know these people,
Nice.
and they're here with you 8 to 10 hours a day. They've got access to your home. Your doors are unlocked. People are coming in who are you have no idea who they are. And you have to trust that the people who are managing this are taking care of your house like it's their house. And we really felt that with Pratt Remodeling, that they were taking care of our house like it was their house. And that type of trust goes a long ways for us in how we do business in our life.
Sure.
And how
Yep.
we are going to do business with our remodel.
Yeah, I've learned a long time ago. You've got to have the right guys. It's not always about the subcontractors you can get. They're a little less money than the next guy.
Right.
It's got to be a team, and so you have to have good guys, secure, clean. Schedule is important. Our process of scheduling.
Good listeners, respectful, kind. All those things.
Yeah, that I can attitude when they show up to the door, and so
Oh, there you go.
I've learned that
Yep.
through the years.
Yeah, it's
Well,
been
thank you
fun.
for that. Welcome back. Mike here with Pratt Remodeling. And I just want to tell you, we're finally done with the project. I'm here with Andrea, and she's the architect designer that designed this wonderful place that we just finished up. But Andrea, why don't you go ahead and tell the audience here a little bit about yourself and the company.
Yes, I'm Andrea Hamill-Wallach. I'm one of the founding partners of HW Squared Design and Architecture.
The Thorsons, how was the contact made there?
My mom and Betsy have been on church committees for many years and become friends through all those committees. So she started sort of quizzing my mom early on as they were thinking about how this home could become more energy efficient, also thinking about aging in place for the home.
Wow, so you go way back with the Thorsons.
Yes.
And so you've probably seen this place many times before you even came in here and did the design and put it all together. So tell me a design and the process of all of this. What type of steps are there for people that want to do a design like this or remodel, a major remodel?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
We start out all of our projects, big or small, with a home evaluation. And it's a series of questions about, so the first part is, how do you like your home? What do you not like about your home? So we can sort of understand the touch and feel of the space and how people interact. And then it breaks it down into sections. Such for the Thorsons, they had a kitchen remodel as part of their scope. So they filled out the kitchen section. We also do, master bedroom. So we try to cover all the areas, and they talk about what works, what doesn't work, how they want to improve it, and we really We try to understand the day-to-day use, not just, hey, we need another 10 by 10 area. So then our goal is, how do we fix that solution and give them a space that works for them?
So it sounds like a lot of different steps. How long does it take on the average on a remodel like this?
On the average, the sort of front end, we'll say schematic design process of it takes a couple of months. David and Betsy are ones that really like to think through all the what ifs. Typically, we have 2 to 3 different sort of schematic ideas that we run with. I think we were up to like 7.5 at one point with Betsy and David.
Well, there's a lot here.
There is a lot here, and they really, trying to decide, do they put an elevator in, or do they just plan for a chairlift in the future? Do they open up the kitchen to the lake view, or would Betsy prefer to have the kitchen sort of closed off and have it her space? Finally, at around, idea number 7, they're like, well, let's put some dollar amounts to this so we understand where we decide to allocate our money to. And that's sort of when you guys stepped in on the project to help us with the pricing.
Yeah, it's all about design and putting things together and budget. And so there must have been quite a few hurdles you had to go through to make this all happen in order for us to put it together.
Yep, this is actually a very unique site. It is 100% in a variance zone. As you can see out the window, we're practically right at the lakeshore. So any changes to this house, inside or outside, had to be reviewed by the city council. The 3-month process, it was a very small ask, and they were very thankful that we were looking at reusing the house and just modifying the roof line slightly in the room that we're in now, and adding, I think it was an extra 20 square feet of deck. It was a very small ask.
Sure.
And all the council was very thankful that we weren't just tearing down the home and starting over.
How was your collaboration with Pratt Homes?
Well, it was my first collaboration with you guys, and it went well. We decided that, I would sort of stop in the sort of schematic design role, and sort of we got into design development, and then your team took it over to finish doing the construction documents, which is a little unique for the process, but it worked well, teaming with you. You guys also have your in-house interior design, so we paused on that, and your team worked with Betsy to finish out the interior of the home, the kitchen cabinets and all the parts and pieces. It was a good experience working with you.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, I hope to do quite a bit more in the near future.
Sounds good.
Thanks for coming in. And so we're here at the end of the process of this fantastic remodel. So tell me, the two of you, is this what you envisioned?
Well, I think it's better than we envisioned, but yes, it's what we envisioned and more. We knew that there was going to be a better view out to the lake, and we're close to the lake, and we only had 2 windows there, so we know it would open up, but it's like amazing to us. We love living here. Well, we always did, but more.
I think that we had worked with the architects and seen it on paper, but when it actually came to life, it exceeded our expectations.
Okay.
The fact that our vision is now up instead of down with that shed roof that we had before, the fact that we put in the stainless steel horizontal railing so you just see right through it to see the lake, it has exceeded our expectations from a design perspective, and the creation in the house has been fantastic. We kind of look at things and say, what didn't we expect when we knew this was coming? And I did not expect the vault to open it up the way it has.
Well, for you, Betsy, the kitchen for you, other than the views, how does that work for you? You've been in here and using it, so tell us.
Yeah, the kitchen works great. We had several cooks in the kitchen at Thanksgiving, and we had 4 people cooking and 1 person sitting kibitzing, my mom sitting around talking to us, and it worked great. And the other kitchen would fit maybe 2 people at the most. And it's beautiful that it's opened up. It looks good. It functions great, and I love it.
Great.
It's worked really well. Yeah.
So tell me, the two of you, did we meet your expectation? Pratt Homes, Pratt Remodeling.
I think that we knew we'd be comfortable with Pratt because of our initial talks, but the collaboration, having the carpenters here who were kind of our new house guests for a few months this summer,
Wow.
It exceeded my expectations.
It was really fun. It was a great process, and it was fun to work with. All the subs were great, and the carpenters, your people, were great, and the people you work with, and everybody knew their job and did their job and consulted us and were respectful and kind, and they were all just great. It was really fun, and I think the finished product is better than we imagined, and working with you guys was awesome.